Alright, thanks again for tuning into Sis Workshop here on YouTube. Hope you're all having a great day today. We're going to jump right into it. Today we're talking about Seasons of the Storm by Elle Cosimano. Cosimano. I really want to emphasize that because I feel like I butchered her name a lot during my podcast review of this novel, but that's neither here nor there. So this is a young adult fantasy, and I loved it, and I mean that so much. I mean, I absolutely 100% love this novel. I thought it was really good. It has a lot of Greek mythology in it, but it's also this sort of twist and rendition of the tale of Jack Frost. And who doesn't love Jack Frost, you know? Every time I think of Jack Frost, I think of the song Jack Frost Nipping at Your Nose, which, you know, I'm never going to get living here in Florida. That's not going to happen. Sorry, I thought my cat was about to knock down something, so I was like ready to just jump at it. And I lost my clicker, so I can't just hit pause on this, unfortunately. But, you know, I really loved this novel for those two reasons. It was a great twist on the retelling of the tale of Jack Frost. You know, I really think that's unique. We do get a lot of versions of Jack Frost, you know, Santa Claus 3, and gosh, there's that sort of, it's not claymation. You know the ones I'm talking about, they're like, it's sort of like, it's stop motion, sort of animation, or it looks like it, you know, with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They have a Jack Frost version of it. I can't remember the name of it. I thought it was really good. And I think this novel sways more towards that animated holiday movie than it does anything else. But very loosely, very loosely. So, Gaia, yes, Greek goddess Gaia. I love Greek mythology. If you follow me, you already know that. Love Greek mythology, especially when it's done right. Gaia, she finds Jack, and he's dying, so she gives him, you know, an option, you know, hey, you can live on as the physical manifestation of winter. And he accepts, because who wants to die? Especially the way he died, you know, he had sort of a very lonely life, unfortunately, and he was a drunk teenager skiing, hits a tree. You know, we've seen it in the news, people die like that. It's not an easy death. It's very painful. Lots of internal bleeding. And of course he doesn't want to die. You know, who wants to die? Especially when they're so young. So he accepts. And he's not the only embodiment of winter here. There's lots of different winters for the hemisphere, and you know, I mean, there's lots of winters. They all have their own sectors of the northern hemisphere. They all live in different areas. They're all kind of grounded by a boundary, and their lives aren't super peaceful either. You know, they are hunted by the next season when it's time for the next season. So Jack is hunted by Fleur, who is the physical manifestation of spring, and they have this sort of Romeo and Juliet kind of forbidden romance going on. They both love each other, they both care about each other, but they can't let it be known, or else they're going to be, you know, terminated. They're not supposed to fraternize with one another, and that's all part of Kronos' plan to kind of keep them weak. Because yes, Kronos, as you know, as we all know him, as a jerk, is still a jerk. But I loved how the story sort of evolved the Greek mythology. I love how the story evolved these character dynamics and brought this tale of Jack Frost to life with Jack. But it also gave other seasons these physical embodiments. And I think, you know, Cosimano did a really good job with bringing these characters to life. You've got Amber, who's autumn, Julio, who's summer. You have Noel, who's also another winter. I mean, these are all really good characters, and you can see how they reflect their seasons. You know, you can see the ferocity in some of them, you can see the lightheartedness in some of them, you can see like the joy in them as well. So it's really interesting to see how they all come together. These 4 different seasons that rarely interact unless they're killing one another, you know? It's very interesting, it's very well developed, it's very intriguing to see this new rendition of Jack Frost brought to life, in my personal opinion. I loved this novel. I thought it was so good. And I mean, I can't stress that enough. Her characterization is so good, and the development of the story overall is very good, because as you guess it, there's a lot of time passing. She is able to capture the passage of time very well. She's connecting it to her seasons. You know, they're all wanting to escape their underground prison. They all want to live in their lives. They all want to live, period. They don't want to be restricted and withheld from living in this sort of vicious and violent cycle. You know, it should be their choice. You know, they're like, oh, it's the end of my season, I guess I'll go into hibernation now. You know, instead of being like, oh my god, it's the end of my hibernation, it's the end of my season, I better start running for my life. You know, Kronos does this so that he keeps them separated, so that he can keep them weak. And you slowly see that develop. And I love how it develops, because there's lots of mystery to it, there's lots of history, there's lots of mythology that went into writing this story, went into developing Kronos with his scythe, Gaia. You know, you get to see how it works out and how it moves forward. And I ultimately really did like that. I loved the evolution of the story. I love the pacing of it. It doesn't drag out. You know, these 4 people, they're going on an adventure. They're trying to escape. They want to live, and now they're inspiring rebellion. And I think it's great how they just like, well, we don't want to do that. And they're like, well, we don't have a choice anymore. Let's lead this rebellion. You know, they really come to terms with the decisions that they've made that have led them up to this point. And they're growing. You know, at first, they don't all like each other at all. And, you know, it's not hard to understand why. Because, you know, again, the vicious cycle of killing one another in order for them to continue living. You know, it's very, it's a double-edged sword, you know, double-edged knife right there, because they have to do this if they want to survive. They have to kill in order to survive, but then they're just going to get killed again and sent back into hibernation. And they go from not liking each other and not trusting each other that much to becoming best friends. You know, they become such a tight-knit group. And I love Fleur's development, because at first she's kind of very soft-spoken, she's very demure, she's very almost meek, you know, and Jack is just like, I need to protect her, I need to protect her, I need to protect her. But there comes this moment where Fleur like kind of smacks him and says, no, I don't need you to protect me. And out of the group, out of the 4, she's really the most powerful as Spring. She is the most powerful embodiment. She's the one most closely connected to Earth. So Spring is sort of like the next Gaia right there. Sorry, I'm really thirsty with all this talking. But I love that. You know, I loved her character development, how she grows, how she becomes so formidable to the point where she takes down the antagonist. You know, you've got 2 antagonists. You've got Kronos and you've got Gaia, and they're both antagonists in different ways. You know, one is more of like an anti-hero kind of antagonist. The other one's just a bad guy. But these four have to go against both of them, and they have to go against the people that have put that, you know, are answering bounties, because Gaia and Kronos have put out a bounty on these four, saying, you know, if you destroy these four, you can get relocated to wherever the heck you want, you know. So they have bounties on them, and they have to face all these people that they once knew, people that they once considered friends. They have to sort of change their minds. And so there's a lot of tension in developing this story, and it really made for a good story, to see how these characters come together, to see how they develop, to see how they become more than how they start off as. And once again, you know, the pacing is also incredible. I know I've already said that, but time jumps are always a little iffy, in my opinion. You can either do them really well, where the story keeps its fluidity, or, you know, it's done poorly and you're like, wait, how much time has passed? Here, you're just sucked into the story. You're following these characters. You know, she uses little anchors, Cosimano, she uses little anchors in her narrative to really lock down the reader in the story, in the development, in this sort of passage of time, you know, how much time is passing. And by going on this adventure, these four characters, well, 8 really, because of them and their handlers, these 8 characters are really, they're discovering so much more about themselves than they ever wanted to. But it makes them better, it makes them stronger in the end, and you really get to feel with these characters, you really get to connect with them. Even the side characters, you know, they get their own voices, and they're really strong voices. And I appreciate it when the side characters are treated as importantly as the main characters. You know, sometimes you just have the side characters that are kind of just there for plot purposes. They don't really add much, but here they add so much. You know, they add more dimension to the development of these characters, to the development of the story, and they all bring something different to the table. They are all very different. They are as different as the seasons, and I love that. So once again, you know, I think I give this novel, I think I give it 5 stars. Yeah, we're gonna go with 5 stars. Seasons of the Storm by Elle Cosimano gets 5 golden stars. Woo! Maybe if I get better at this whole YouTubing thing, I can actually add stars right there. You know, I'm still learning. You have to be patient with me. I'm still learning how to do this whole thing. But anyway, 5 stars for Seasons of the Storm. There will be a link in the description below to purchase the book on bookshop.org. I highly recommend bookshop.org because a percentage of every proceed does go to supporting local booksellers. And in checkout, you get to see exactly how much of your money is going to be going to the bookstore. So there's no like gray area here. And you know, if money is too tight, which I know for, you know, a lot of us it is, myself included, check out the book from your local library. Libraries are a great resource and they deserve all of our support. And please don't forget to support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. As always, happy reading!